So, Ted, let me lob a question over to you, sir. You've obviously had your products out in the market here, and talk to us about what are some of the best practices or applications you're seeing for this. Are there any gotchas or things to look out for when people embrace this ARI technology? Are there any gotchas, and what have people's user experience been like thus far?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions there. Let me try to capture them.
You're
First,
welcome.
I want to come back to Darren because I think what we're talking about is really both sides of the coin here. There has to be really great, easy, effective, efficient, fast network to run this new health infrastructure, wellness detector type solution that folks like Bill Gates and everybody's talking about on the news. We need to be able to get all this information everywhere, from everywhere, across really great, efficient, scalable, cloud-based managed networks. So on my side of the coin, there's before we talk about very specifically best practices, it's trying to understand what the use cases are, and there are best practices for each of the use cases. If you look at one of the use cases is a high volume traffic area. Darren talked about India and the quick response teams. We have devices and teams doing that with vaccination clinics all across the country, or colleges and high schools bringing in a lot of students in a very short period of time to come into class and leave class. That means you need a number of devices. So you have to understand sort of the volume of people that need to be screened, map that to the capacity of the devices that can screen them, and then map that back to your network. You know, the old days of 802.11b Wi-Fi running at 11 megabits isn't going to have thermal imaging going across it and huge amounts of infinite data trying to be able to predict where our next hotspots are going to be. So it's all about understanding the use case. Again, high capacity, high volume traffic areas, I'm going to need really advanced Wi-Fi technology and infrastructure to support what we call the healthcare infrastructure to enable all that. We've learned in things like you mentioned dental offices, Darren, where we actually are. Dentists were really impacted because they were the people that had to go in our mouths when everyone else was freaking out about being within 6 feet of someone with COVID. So they actually had to crawl in our mouths and clean our teeth and fill cavities and do all that stuff. So we found dentist offices, hospitals, and doctors' offices as a use case that was unbelievable. And every one of them, initially, a lot of them, especially the small dental offices, didn't have good infrastructure. So Cambium's getting a lot of recommendations when we go to those places and saying, you need great infrastructure. Once they put it in, it's simple things like you don't want to point these wellness detectors towards bright lights because bright lights emanate heat, and we don't want to confuse bright lights and elevation of heat with elevated temperature and people not being good. We typically tell people that don't have someone run up 2 flights of stairs and then expect to have a normal heart rate or a respiratory rate. So it's more about education, and I kind of liken it, and I hate to, but what we've learned, one of the things that we've learned since 9/11, beyond, again, network and infrastructure, communications and cloud scalability, but we've also learned that we still have to have a guy at the TSA lineup saying, everybody, empty your laptops, take off your shoes. Just the simple social engineering behind this has been really unbelievable, that people don't automatically think I have to go when I see a green light. So figuring out solutions, not just technology, making sure that in harsh environments, and when I say harsh, I mean heat intensive environments like India, where we're measuring ambient temperature of over 100 degrees, but we have to make sure that that's not the temperature reading of the person, because we know their core temperature is at 98.6 or whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of things that we've learned, but leveraging technology is key, multi-sensor fusion with us, but the social engineering and making sure you have, little simple directions and phenomenal networks behind the scenes to be able to gather all this data and leverage what we're learning in trending and comparative analytics.
Very cool. That's a great answer. And guys, just anecdotally, when I go see my dentist, it's I think two-step authentication is cumbersome when I log into my work laptop. But going to the dentist, I mean, they fall short of spraying me down with a power sprayer. And if ARI can offer a solution that brings better peace of mind to my dentist, who also shows up in a hazmat suit, by the way,
Yes.
I'm amazed he can be as detailed as he can be, all up in my mouth, as you state, Ted. If it can make that, give them peace of mind, and also, let them know who is safe to come in, who isn't, that just eliminates that worry and that step for them. Because they're also the IT guy, as I mentioned earlier.
It's interesting. Beyond the things that we've learned, that you would expect coming into a dentist office, going to a restaurant, going into the school with the children. One of the things that we've really learned, you talk about being comfortable, is a lot of the deployments that we've done, we thought were going to be about someone coming into a business. So whether I'm a guest coming into a hotel, whether I'm a patient coming into a dental office, or I'm coming to get vaccinated, or I'm going to the hospital, and some of the largest hospitals, well-known hospitals in the country use our stuff, is employees. So I have a number of small businesses that wanted, before they scanned people coming into the facility, they wanted to make sure all their employees felt that all their other employees were safe. So I could tell you car dealerships and dentist offices where they put in 4 units, 5 units, 6 units, and only one of them was for guests or people coming outside. The rest were to provide peace of mind, to let people know that they can come back and operate at work in a safe environment, and that everybody's been screened, and it's a good, happy place to be. And it just relieves the stress unbelievably. When we put this in and you see employees getting scanned, and then you can actually see the stress come off their face. Wow, everybody's checked. We don't have to worry about the politics behind mask, no mask. Did the kids go to school? Did they not? Was somebody exposed at a sporting event? None of that. All those worries go away. So that's part of how we get back to as best as normal living as we can. It's really
that lets us worry about our handshake policy. Elbow, fist bump, handshake. we got bigger things to worry about.